comes from the federal government. It's out of the Economic Development Administration. It was funding that Congress established as a result of the Hurricane Irene back in 2011. The city experienced flooding in many of its downtown buildings as a result of that hurricane, as well as stormwater issues that we have with the combined sewer system. And we saw the funding opportunity as a way to address the combined stormwater and sanitary sewers that currently exist in Genesee Street, and to really update the pedestrian streetscape amenities that are currently on Genesee Street.
This grant came to us from Senator Schumer, who was a catalyst in this because of the flooding of Hurricane Irene and all the problems we've had with the water and the separation of water. This grant became possible. 100 years ago, downtown was very robust. We had cars, we had the retail business downtown. That has changed. Obviously, we all know that malls have come to event, strip malls are here. What remains the same is what we are a downtown built on municipal government, the county, the state, the city. We are a downtown that is based on Munson Williams, Proctor Institute, Pratt. We are a financial downtown also, between the Bank of Utica, Adirondack Bank, M&T, NBT. It's a great place to bring a family. It's a great place to walk up and down, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the complexion of downtown to a destination point. We need to change the downtown area into an area that's warm and inviting. We're very excited about that, and we think great things are going to happen with this.
What happens during the heavy rains? Because we have a combined sanitary and storm sewer, which means rains and sewage would go into one pipe. It would send directly to the treatment plant. Treatment plant reaches its capacity, which means cannot treat any more water. It shuts off the gate. When it shuts off the gate, there's an overflow called CSO. It opens the gate and sends the sewage directly to the Mohawk River. Right now, there's many cities that are doing this, but we are not under a consent order yet, and we are taking necessary steps to comply with EPA regulations. Some of the infrastructure was built in 1800s. I think it's going to be one of the biggest projects in Utica. We are completely changing the complexion of the downtown.
At the same time that the federal grant opportunity came about, the state was also conducting its second round of consolidated funding applications. With that round opening, the city saw an additional opportunity to go after some state grant funding to address what's above the ground. We're using really the federal grant to handle what's under the ground, and the state grant to really handle what the public sees on Genesee Street in terms of streetscape. In addition, the city recently completed a master plan, which was adopted by the council last year. That master plan has a section devoted to downtown, and one of the primary goals of that section of the master plan is to rejuvenate the Genesee Street corridor as a boulevard. Genesee Street was designed for a city of 100,000. We don't have 100,000 anymore. If you look at the streetscape right now, it's really old, it's tired. There's not a lot of landscaping, it's all hardscape. It's not environmentally friendly, it doesn't work well with the stormwater. So we saw this as an opportunity while we're ripping up the street to really rethink what's happening above the ground. Having an up-to-date master plan that was just adopted last year was critical in the city going after the two funding sources that we are, the federal funds as well as the state funds. Both require that the application be in furtherance of a plan, and the city had that plan in place. So it was absolutely critical to have that master plan already adopted. So this is an opportunity to really update the Genesee Street corridor.
When you apply for a grant, that grant is designated for a specific reason, and you can't deviate from that. It's earmarked specifically for a designated area, which is the infrastructure, separation of the water, which can only be used for that. So yeah, I would like to say I'd like to take that $12 million and spread it throughout the entire city, but we can't do that. It's designated by federal government, by the state, what we can use that money for, and it can only be used for the downtown area at this point. That does not mean that down the road we won't look for other areas to improve our infrastructure throughout our city, but this grant is designated for the downtown area. You either use it or you lose it, and that's exactly what we don't want to do. We don't want to lose it.
In terms of the boulevard plan for Genesee Street, the city did take a look at a number of model communities that have recently put in boulevards. Schenectady, New York is probably the closest model. Our staff did take a number of trips out to Schenectady within the last year and a year and a half to see how their project worked. And it's a similar size to the city of Utica, similar downtown, and their project has been very successful.